Hello everyone, my name is Uthris and welcome to Timberborn on the channel. Timberborn is a early access game on Steam now, and this is a game that we previously played back in pre-alpha, but since it's on Steam, the devs were super kind and sent me over a key so that I could experience all the awesome changes. There's two factions now, so there's the Iron Teeth, which is a locked faction. You have to do pretty well, I guess, so you get them to a well-being of 8 for the original faction to unlock them. They might be harder to play or something like that. I know they are a little bit different. Each faction has unique buildings to them, so that'll be something to check out eventually. We're just going to go with the default faction here. Just a heads up, I did play a little bit on my own, so I kind of know what I'm doing. I say kind of. I'm sure I'm going to die or something. Yeah. Let's do a meandering as our level. There's different levels, different terrains to choose from. There's even a map maker in the game, as far as I'm aware. So people will be able to make maps and maybe share those, which would be pretty cool to do. The new art for the early access is updated and looks nice, very clean. I especially really like this palette knife almost style backdrop they have back here in the loading screens and the title screen. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Look at these beavers. So these are the new models for the beavers. They are a little bit more stylized and things. I think their mesh is a little I don't know, maybe because beavers are just weird looking if you stand them up on hind legs like that. But I definitely like their new faces. They're definitely pretty cute. And they look pretty good. They sit on their tail and they cover their private parts with their tail. Very nice, very nice. So we're here in a meandering river. So there's a river that goes around and then out. It looks like, in theory, we could cut away this terrain and have the river go that way, but that would be silly. We probably don't want to do that. What we want to do is take a look here at the river and see about what we can do for water long term. Water and food is the two most important aspects in your beaver colony. Without those, your beavers won't be surviving very well. So just heads up. I wondered, now this is a huge drop off here. I'm curious if we could dam up this portion of the river and get some long-term water. So we'll talk about damming up water and the water mechanics here eventually, but first things first, we need to be able to survive the first drought. So to do that, we're going to need a few key buildings here. You'll notice that the water does irrigate the land to a certain point from its source, and then you get barren land. So things will not grow in barren land. So barren land is actually pretty good for building structures on because, well, you're already going to be dedicating that space for something else. So that'll be good for us. And then water pumps for other things. So I'm going to go ahead and put a water pump down because we will need one to pump water up to our beavers at this level. We are also going to need a couple kind of water storage units. Now I'm going to put them about there. Actually, no, I'm not going to use this fertilized land space for that. We're going to use the fertilized land space probably for crops. And we're going to need a decent amount of food here. So all that is going to be our crop field to sustain our beaver fam long term. Also going to plop down some pathing. Pathing is important for extending out your build radius. Okay, and we're going to go out this way, connect to there. Now, for the farmland, you do need a structure for this, so you do need to build a farmhouse to employ your farm beavers. Farm beavers are an important beaver asset. And we'll just run a path just like that to our farmland. Okay, I'm gonna have 2 farm buildings because this is a decent sized plot. Each farm building can have 2 beavers in there. And from here, this is kind of our food, our main big food source, but we're also gonna be harvesting some berries using a gatherer point. Okay, so with the gatherer point, I'm gonna put this a bit closer to the base itself. So with the gatherer point, we can make a full block. So I'll be trying to put homes and other things in this area there. Cool. And besides gathering, we do need lumber and construction resources. So we'll go to the wood dialogue. They completely redid this UI, and I love the little art thumbnails that they have down here. Yeah, no, I think it's pretty great. So we'll start with 3 lumber gatherers, and we'll even get a little path out this way. Boom. And we're going to first mark the dead areas for harvesting because, well, I want to get rid of these dead trees. So I have some room to build out back here. Okay. And we will need some storage, some log storage. Something like that. And that. So 2 log storage sections. So this is, you can change priorities of construction. So we're going to try and get a farm up immediately. Second farm can wait. I'm not too worried about the second farm. And we also would like, I think we need a small warehouse over here to store our food long term and other items that we'll be crafting. Otherwise, we just have some plots for some housing. Now, I might try and fit a campfire in here. Like that. And let's see if we can't get some housing wrapped around it a little bit. Because eventually you can stack stuff on top, and if I want to have like a large 2-story lodge, I need to use other homes and buildings as those structures. We're going to prioritize 2 homes. Everything else is, to me, the warehouse is a little lower priority than the homes. And then the campfire is a little bit higher priority than the rest of the homes. Yeah, okay. I think we're good. We're good to play. Let them run around. They will auto-assign their jobs. So when they build a lumberjack flag, if there's an unemployed beaver, which we have 3 of right now, they will go ahead and start working in that area. And you can see the beavers come over. I honestly would like to see a more beaver gnawing on the tree for its tree harvesting. For now, I mean, I don't know if that's a placeholder or not, but that's fine. So we have 7 adult beavers and 4 baby beeves. And so we'll just try and stockpile up as much wood as we can. We'll get this water pump online. And the reason I'm building this path along this cliff edge is long term, once we start researching, because there's a research tech tree. Long term, we are going to build probably the dam to turn this whole spot into a big water pool. But to do that, we're going to have to get down a level and then across the river. And we're not going to have bridges, so we're going to have to do this via staircases and stuff like that. And what will happen is, once this fills up with water, I hope, I don't know, I've never done like a big water project like that. This side will become irrigation worthy over here. and we could start expanding into this territory, I think. Long term. We'll see if that ends up working. It might work, it might not work, who knows? We're just hanging out with our beavers at this point. So we'll speed up time. We'll be gathering trees. There is a leisure time for them. So you can set it to 24-hour days, but that wouldn't be very ideal, in my opinion. Because what'll happen is they'll probably not be very happy. I don't know if they can leave from that. They also might not get very good sleep because they do have a sleep effect. So that's things to shoot for. All right, cool. We have our first farm. We have 2 worker slots for beavers. We have Razzie, the farmer beav. Yeah, we got Uthris, the lumberjack. Valja, Sharimara, the beav. We have DG Romel, Ozan. Vujil is gathering our water. Note on water, you actually need to store water. I suggest storing a fair amount of water, because you're going to run into drought seasons, dry seasons, that are going to put a strain on your beavers. So I'm going to start with 4 water jugs. Each of these water barrels can hold 30 water. 4 of those, of course, would be 120 units of water. And when we hit drought, this water is going to get low and dry up. And so crops such as these berries and even our carrots here will no longer be growable. In fact, I think, honestly, it would just be easier to dam up the river and let that not make this lake. So what happens if I think we'll block water on this whole loop all the way to this waterfall. So this is probably where we're gonna dam the first spot for us. And we're gonna need some research for that too. Which reminds me, we need to build our research buildings soon. So these are inventors. I'm gonna build 2 of them just so we can get a good amount of research going. I'm gonna build them up that way to save room. So with research, you can see we can research wooden stairs, we can research platforms, all that good stuff. Bigger storage units. You can research builder's hut, distribution post. First thing I want to research is a forester's house, because I want to be able to replant trees. Obviously, logs are a super important resource for our beavers. Right now, the only trees that would naturally grow is this forest down here. And right now, it only naturally grows because, well, there's trees here and they naturally propagate their seedlings around. So when we harvest this, right, we need to be able to replant that. So that's what that Forester's Lodge is really good for, is being able to replant that. And I might even put an irrigation tank up here to try and expand the forest up in this direction, because I want to cover as much forest as possible with that. So we're living off berries right now, quite a lot. We have 1 baby beaver that grew up so far, and we have 2 homeless beavers still. We are still gathering logs from up north. And down south here, we just have the forest that I'm kind of holding in reserve. I'm letting some of these grow a little bit before I just mark this whole place to be chopped down. So we're going to get rid of all the dead trees first. Oh, great. We have our campfire. So that's a leisure activity. That's going to keep them, you know, a little bit happier. It satisfies their social needs. And you can always check the needs of your beavers Where do I do that? Could have sworn there's a way for me to do that. It's up here, top left. Okay, yeah, so you can see thirsty, hunger, social life is getting pretty good. If you get to rank 4 in their happiness, you unlock the Iron Teeth clan of Beaver. And this is really cool. Like, I love the fact that it's a beaver colony sim. Theme-wise, it's a unique kind of idea. Plus, for me, I have beavers in my lake, and those beavers actually just had 2 baby beavers. So we're like, I don't know where this mom and dad beaver showed up from. I know they've been cutting down a lot of trees, but it's very interesting. I saw the baby beavers the other day out there in like a shallow stream, having a good time with their mom. So it's good timing that I am playing this game and also have actual beavers in real life nearby. Okay, we got goal rank 5. So social life, sleep, thirst, hunger, comfort, all good. All good for them. Alright, so we got all the housing. So we have a house for 15 total beavers. Population's 14. So they will propagate so long as they have the housing to do so. Going to go ahead and get a path from here to here. Just in case we start using this roadway. I like it when they're running on all fours. It's pretty funny to watch. And then the adult beavers carrying stuff on their shoulder. Nope, that's a thirsty beaver right there. We do have some water, but I would like to be able to start storing water in these barrels for future use. There we go. Now we're storing some water in here, and I'm just going to be spreading them, water buckets around the town, just to keep that on the up and up. All right, we are currently dedicating logs to these barrels still. We have 2 unemployed beavers, but once we get these 2 buildings made, we'll be back down to 0. And then this one. So we need 4 total beavers that are unemployed to fully, supply the farmhouse with what we need in the science areas with what we need. And we are almost out of trees up here. We are almost out of trees in this area. Now these trees, because they're dead, some of them are dead pines, they give 2. If they're dead birches, they'll give 1, just like a normal birch. And then maples will give 8. All right. See, this one's confused. It doesn't know where any trees are, so we will start cutting down this way. Make sure, yep, okay, I can reach both sides. Very good. So we'll start cutting down these live pine trees. Just like that. You can see we've already harvested some of our carrots. And that helped our nutrition 1 value. So we're at progress 6 of 8. Right now. It's really carrot harvesting season, it looks like. Lovely. 7 days in. Not too bad. I'm going to switch this to focus on planting first, because I want these to be growing while we're harvesting the other ones. And planting takes much shorter time than to harvest. And I need that turnover rate. So we'll just propagate outwards, almost in like waves. That'll be good. We have our first science. So we are gaining science at a fair rate. Each building will generate 3 science every, so many hours. And now that we have 2, we're generating essentially 6 science every so many hours. And that'll be good so that we can start working on our first major unlock, which would be the foresters. Now from there, I'm going to need to get this staircase, because we're going to need that staircase to block off this river. And I might block it off here first. It might be easier. And then worry about moving it down to this edge. And we'll talk about dams and the water mechanics once we start working on those a little bit more. Okay, we got science going. We're halfway to the forester's hut. Need to consider other housing builds. Okay, we'll build 4 new beaver homes, beaver lodges. Awesome. Our second farmhouse is made now. Okay, so once we get these homes up and running, for our actual forester, it's going to require a new resource. It's going to require planks. And planks in this game, well, to run a sawmill, a lumber mill, you're going to have to make some power for it. We're up pretty high on this edge here, so we're not going to be able to really generate power through the water wheel. So if you go to the power range, there's water wheel or power wheel. Those are kind of your 2 first options. A power wheel is manned by a beaver, just like a hamster wheel would be, and it generates just enough power to run 1 of these lumber mills. So we need higher population, because what we're gonna need eventually is over here. We're gonna be putting that down. We're going to be putting down a lumber mill, and then another power wheel here. Always make sure that it's angled right. This one is not. So the power wheel has a side that they can get into the wheel and the side that the power is going to. So just like that, we have kind of a a beaver lumber mill over here on this side. Now I could have, in theory, put lumber mills down here. Could have hooked up maybe a water wheel here. Problem with that, if no water is down there, no power is happening. All right, we are harvesting a fair amount of carrots. I might need a second pump, actually. So let's destroy some structures here. Make room for that. Because I might need a second pump here. Long term. I want all these water barrels full as soon as possible. In fact, I'm going to make one more. All right, we have enough research for our first researched item, which is this forester's hut. We're which is going to link up right here. You can see the area that the forester can work. I'm covering pretty much that whole right side with that. Go ahead and link that up. And we can start translating that into being able to replant this forest for wood. And we're going to do a combination forest. I think doing a combination of different wood types is the best. So you got birch, which is fine. It grows, you know, in 9 days, produces 1 log. You got pine, grows in 12 days, produces double the log though. So that's good. And then maple, 24 days, but 8 logs. So maple, obviously the best tree. It takes a while for that to regrow. And early on, we kind of need a more quick growing tree for our purposes. All right, so we have 2 unemployed beavers. Guess that means we can just have one work as woodcutters. But the nice thing about the woodcutters is, you know, you can just pause them and unassign them from this if you don't want them to be working there. And then that way they can come and maybe work at the lumber mill. We are going to have to create 7 planks. And these are expensive buildings. So it's going to require, what, 55 total logs to get 1 lumber mill going. And then the lumber mill consumes logs at a rate of, does it say? 1 log into the mill equals 1 plank, I guess, is what that's saying. Then 1 plank into the gear workshop equals 1 gear. And then you get the paper mill, log to 2 paper. This one, 1 paper to 1 book. So there's a lot of progression that you're going to need, and power on these. Okay, we're actually about to hit the end of our lumber supply. Do I have any more lumber? Not really. Has me a little concerned. I have a decent amount of food. We're really just short on water right now. I think that's why I want to prioritize this building next. And then I'm gonna delete these tree trunks. I don't know if this helps the forest repropagate out or not. I'm still kind of learning. But we'll see. We'll see if that helps. Hopefully it does. Alright, great. So we have enough beavers. Not quite enough beavers to deal with that. We're gonna, since we don't need as many lumberjacks, I mean we technically do, but obviously we don't have enough trees for them to be cutting down. We can start shifting them over to other things. I need this water pump built ASAP, so we can store enough water. I think we're gonna have enough food, for sure. I do want 2 lumber mills. So we're going to be building some stuff that will require a fair amount of timber. There we go. Cool. We have 2 water pumps now. And now I don't need any more plank generation for a little bit. This has the 7 planks it needs. If I kept this on, it would keep taking our logs, which seems to be at premium right now. Oh no. We have a warning in 3 days. It's going to be a drought. It's going to be the first drought for us here in 3 days. Luckily we have 2 pumps going now, so hopefully we can get just that much more water delivered around. Into the beaver village. It's funny how the farming houses, honestly, it just looks so much better than these. Like, I'm fine with these. And if I give them a little roof, I don't know. I just feel like these buildings have so much more detail in them, in knickknacks, than the homes themselves. All right, 2 days away till the first drought. I hope we do well. We have over almost 300 total food. Our water is increasing again. We have 6 unemployed beavers. So I want to do a hauling post. To help us move resources around where it needs to be. I feel like we do need one of those. Hopefully these trees can regrow so we can start planting our actual trees. I'm gonna go ahead and just mark out the fields here. Okay, so all of this is going to be trees. I dragged over a bunch of pine trees initially, and what I can do is go ahead and change some of these now. I'm just gonna throw in some maples, and I like kind of randomizing this a little bit to get a little bit more of a forest vibe. And then we will throw in some birches. Again, this is kind of giving us our quick timber. Here. And then we have pine for medium, and then we have maples in there also. I think I might have a little too much maple. We'll trim some of that back. There we go. Okay, 1 day until the drought. I'm pretty nervous about that. All right, research. We're at to 170 research. I'm gonna go ahead and research our stairs because we're gonna need those. And also, we are wanting to go ahead and research an irrigation tower next, I think. I think that's what I'm gonna need. Because we'll want to irrigate back in here to expand our wood farm out. Employ plenty of beavers out here to, cut down all the timber. Maybe a secondary forester's lodge, who knows. Right now we have 7 unemployed beavers. Population is 26, our cap is 27. might need some new water barrels as well. Half a day away. 6%, 73, 70, 81. So these trees are pretty close to harvestable. And that'll give us enough trees to get our forester online. You know, we just need to harvest 2 pine trees. We'll get our forester. And then we have to wait pretty much a whole year to start getting more lumber. And I can somehow get across this lake, or the river here, to get these trees. The drought has started. You can see the water is receding. And with that comes the dry season. Whoosh. All those crops are going to die. Now, the trees won't. The trees can go like 13 days without water, it looks like. So they'll be fine. These, not so much. I'm gonna switch them to harvesting so they focus on that. So we can harvest what we can out of these carrots before they all kind of wither away. This season will last 2.5 days. And I don't think the trees grow during this phase, so welcome to the dry season. So usually it's a pretty good time to build, in my opinion, is the dry season. But sadly, we don't have any resources at the moment because we haven't been able to dam up any of our river yet. And what damming up the river does, I'll go ahead and explain that a little bit, is it will prevent the water from flowing away. And so it will turn this into essentially a reservoir. If we dam up, say we can do it from here to here. From this point back, it will hold the water, and it'll actually hold it into the dry season as we pump water out of it and even irrigate the land here. So it'll slowly dry itself up, but definitely damming up the river is a good idea. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and end the first episode here. I think we'll be fine. We have plenty of food. Water is going down, and you know, I kind of foresee us having a bit of a water issue. But hopefully we have enough water to make it through another day. And with that, you guys can go ahead and subscribe for more Timberborn goodness such as this. Hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. And we'll see you all in the next episode of this wonderful little game.